I'm John Evans. Welcome to another episode of One on One. Mike Krzyzewski's record speaks for itself. He won more college basketball games than any other head coach in history. In his 46 years, first at Army and then at Duke, his teams won more than 1,200 games. He won 5 national championships with the Blue Devils, countless ACC tournament titles, and he also won 6 Olympic gold medals as the head coach of Team USA. I've known Coach K for more than 30 years now, and when I had the opportunity to reconnect for our interview, I wanted to find out how a legendary head coach is spending his retirement days. He won more games than any other college basketball coach in his 46-year career, 5 national championships, 6 Olympic gold medals coaching Team USA, and also was once my former co-host for Children's Miracle Network telethons at Duke Children's Hospital in Durham. Coach Mike Krzyzewski, welcome to WECT and One-on-One with John Evans. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I had to carry you there for a while. You're the young kid on the block, and but a good guy on the block. And I've enjoyed our friendship, and thanks for the help you did for our community, but especially for the Children's Hospital.
Yeah, those were fun times, and you made me feel like a part of that team when I walked into a room with broadcasting legends and a national championship coach. It meant the world to me then and still means the world to me now. So I appreciate it and thank you. You don't know how much that meant. How's retirement, Coach?
Well, I'm retired. It's great. I'm retired from coaching and recruiting. I'm actually doing this in my conference room. I still have my same office, conference room, my office staff. I have a lifetime contract with Duke as an ambassador and busy doing that. But I'm also working for the NBA now as a special advisor. So I'm at all their meetings. I speak a lot for the Washington Speakers Bureau all over the country. And I also still have my own Sirius XM show for 20th year now. And I'm a professor at our Fuqua School of Business. I lecture on leadership. I've been associated with Fuqua for about over 20 years now. And our 3 daughters, John, live right within 10 minutes of us. So we have our 10 grandchildren here. And I'm either going to JV games, streaming something. We're as busy as can be, but we're happy. And I'm only doing things that I want to do. And all the things I mentioned are things that I want to do.
What are your days filled with? I mean, I know you do a lot of things, and thank goodness you gave up coaching to be able to make room for everything else. But is this a Mike, you just said, is this a what Mike wants to do kind of time in your life?
Yeah, and to learn, to stay purposeful. We still have our nonprofit in Durham, the Emily Krzyzewski Center. It's 18 years old. We service about 1,800 kids in Durham County, and there's a lot going on, and a lot of demands or requests. I shouldn't say demands, but requests. And when you do a bunch of speaking in that, you don't do it without preparation, and so I prepare a lot every time I have a client that I'm speaking at. And I was just in New York speaking for MetLife. I'm going to be in 3 different cities next week, in DC, New York, and Indianapolis speaking, and you prepare for those things. And then behind the scenes, I stay in close contact with our basketball program. John Shire and I speak frequently, but just the 2 of us. I try to go to a few games, not every game, and I'm very proud of what he has done with the program and continued the traditions, the excellence, and we have a really good team this year. So I'm as busy as I want to be. If I'm in Durham, I come to my office to work, and there believe me, you can ask Jerry, my assistant for over 30 years. We're always we always got a lot going on, and it's good stuff, all good stuff.
How long did you prepare, Coach, to actually give up the coaching side of Mike's career?
Yeah, well, just before COVID hit, we my team that year, it ended the season, but we were a really good team and had a chance. And so with COVID hit, I my wife and I, Mickey and I, were thinking that might be the last year. But when COVID hit, we said we can't leave during COVID. And then COVID was the worst year of my coaching career. You know, I hated it. I hated the fact that you could not coach. I, it, it, it was so restrictive. And, and so it was not a good year. And I said, we can't leave that way. So I met with our president, Vince Price, and said, I'd like to coach one more year. So I knew a year in advance what, and I said, if you want me to coach the 1 year, one stipulation, actually two. One is that I'm not going to recruit, but it has to do with the second stipulation, and that is whoever you decide on to be the coach needs to be with me as a co-head coach for a year, so that our program would have the continuity that it needs to maintain a high level of excellence.
Right.
And so he said, no, we want you to coach and we want you to stay on here forever. And and so John Shire obviously had been on my staff for 8 years. He was uh, the easy guy and the right guy to pick, but they had a short search and looked beyond and decided on like a great choice. Uh, and John then spent that year uh, right by my side like he was before, but now he could recruit every kid that was recruited. They knew they were going to play for him. They didn't think they were going to play for me and then me pull the rug out on them,
Right.
in April. And really, that I thought that was just as smooth as it could be. And uh, and I don't know if you're ever prepared to take on your first head coaching job, but I felt that John was as prepared as he could be. And then whatever help I can give him in these last 2.5 to 3 years behind the scenes, I give him. But he's his own man, and I'm proud of what he and his staff have done.
Have you made any discoveries in retirement? The grass grows faster. There's more traffic on my street than I can remember.
No,
any
good.
any any
That's a great.
enlightenments?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm more out. Actually, I get to spend more time with my family, which is great. Seeing my grandkids grow and be a part of that growth because they're all within 10 minutes of us. Uh, I get to spend more time with my dog, outside. And but even, sounds crazy, but I go shopping. I go to the grocery store, and I like it. And my wife and my daughters, I never did. I said, yeah, I met so and so, and the checkout woman, was great today, and I mentioned her name, and so I'm making friends at the gas stations and the grocery stores, and I still haven't gone to the mall. I don't know if people believe this, but in my 40 something years here, I've never gone to the mall. Uh, and so when I'm out on the road, I usually do my shopping.
That's
When I was coaching, I could
Yep.
go incognito a little bit, but yeah, I love people, and so that's been a nice discovery. It's been a lot of fun, and then my daughters and my wife goof on me about it. You know,
My
come
wife
on,
want
Dad.
my wife wanted me to ask about your dog because that was one thing
Yeah,
during your goodbye was that's the one thing that even touched my wife Sheila, who met you years ago.
yeah,
She
yeah.
she wanted to know about the dog because she thought that was the best part of the ceremony of saying goodbye.
Well, we have had labs, and our yellow lab had died the year before, blue, and I still miss him. And so at our banquet the last year, the team and our family gave us a silver lab, which is kind of like a chocolate coach, and they already named him. And when they had him on stage, I held him, and he started licking my. So, all right, this is, but giving a baby like a puppy to two 74-year-old people is like having a kid. And that's why we're not allowed, you can't have kids at that age. So we needed a lot of help, but he's become, I love him. He's now about 85 pounds. He's
Oh,
beautiful. He's an athlete, and I spend a lot of time with him. He's terrific.
we see a lot of coaches right now, Mike saying goodbye. Tony Bennett, Mike Bray,
Yeah.
John Larinaga. Is college basketball and college sports as a whole in a good place in your mind?
Well, it's in a good place where fans enjoy the product. Like there's still people who are passionate about football and basketball and all that. But the life of the athlete has changed dramatically because of uh, money, which is fine. They should, whatever amount of money they can make through NIL or other ways. The transfer portal gives them mobility, uh, but uh, there's college sports is headed. It can't keep going like this without leadership, without transparency, without governance that works, and whatever. And so this spring, I think, is a critical time for the Power Four commissioners to figure out a new model. College football has it done the best with the CFP, the College Football Playoff,
Mm-hmm.
and they're kind of removed from the NCAA for the most part. And whatever guidance we can get from that leadership group and the conference commissioners to make sure that the NCAA cannot do this anymore. Uh, in the way it's run, and it can't be run by committee, and it's a defunct way of doing it. So I'm anxious behind the scenes, and with my work in the NBA, I've tried to do some things and meeting with some conference commissioners and talking to the people in college basketball to see if they can create a model similar to football and where it has a leadership component.
Could Mike Krzyzewski, as a 40 or a 50-year-old, go back to coaching college athletes in 2025 if you had the chance?
No, I could do that, but I don't want to do it. Like I had 47 years of beautiful stuff. The wins, the losses, the championships, the interactions, and then, I coached the U.S. team for 11 years and was the ultimate honor. And that time, you know what? Yeah, I always felt you had to be worthy of winning. And to be the coach, the head coach, you have to pay the price of preparation and a huge time commitment with recruiting and whatever. Could I coach a game? Do I still know the game? Yes, of course I do. Could I still relate to players? Yes. I don't want to make that com commitment. Therefore, I would not be worthy of winning. So I knew that. I was my last year. I gave it my best, and it was a great year. We lost uh, in the Final Four to North Carolina in a great game, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that I would have loved to have it end with a national championship, but I love that it ended in a great game against an opponent that's been a great opponent and that I have the ultimate respect for.
As you were building your culture at Duke, Coach, when did it get to the point that it was Mike's program? You came in, you did well, and then you won the two national championships. But you tried to instill, I've read so much that you've said, that you wanted to instill your program. When did you
Yeah,
think
no.
that it got? When did you think that it got there?
Well, when I took over, it was in a rebuilding stage,
Right.
although hardly anybody knew that yet because Bill Foster had really good success, but it was on the way down. And so it wasn't like I took over somebody's program, somebody's culture or whatever. So it really started with that class of Dawkins, Allery, Billis, Henderson, and with the addition of Amaker the next year. And I would say this though, it wasn't Coach K's or Mike's program, I, because it wouldn't be a good program that way. It was our program. It had to be a program of plural pronouns, not a singular person. And I always tried to make sure that it was everybody had ownership, all the people in my infrastructure and assistants, secretaries, people who helped out, cleaning and whatever. And then the players that came in, once we got that going, saw that, and then it helped me integrate them into our culture uh, because it was there. But so much of what we did and what we accomplished was accomplished because of the people who were non-coaches and non-players in our organization, and they became family. And as a result, our program became like a family. I'm not saying it's the only family out there.
Right.
Like we're the only ones. I'm not saying that, but for us to achieve the level of success that we have achieved, uh, that was the key factor, and I love that.
Well, I know you're very busy. You've got requests all over the place. It was great to catch up with you, Coach. We haven't had the chance to talk for many years. I appreciate you sparing me some time and joining the one-on-one with John Evans this morning. It's always good to talk to you. We wish you the very best down here in Wilmington.
Yeah, thank you. And my family and I get down to Figure Eight for a week or two every summer, and so the Wilmington area is a treasured area for us. It's one of the beautiful spots on this planet, and we appreciate you all sharing it with our family for a couple weeks during the summer.
Well, good to see you again, Coach. All the
All right,
best.
all right, take care.
A big thank you to Mike Krzyzewski for spending some of his very valuable time and joining us for this week's interview. As you heard, he's still busy with speaking engagements, his radio show, and spending time with his 10 grandkids, too. You can keep up with Mike Krzyzewski. Just go to CoachK.com. And now, before we leave, I'd like to ask you a favor. Please follow or subscribe to the One-on-One with John Evans podcast on whatever app you use to listen to your favorite shows. And if you would be so kind, please leave us a rating or a review. We do care what you think about our interviews, and the more feedback we have from friends like you, the higher we'll be listed on the apps, and the better chance we'll have of bringing in even more new listeners. I'm John Evans. Thanks so much for spending some time with us and listening to this episode of One-on-One.